Hey everybody, welcome back to Building Your Empire with SophieZo. I'm excited to bring you yet another fabulous guest to my show in this season of guests. And Krisha is not only a good friend and a colleague, I have done a little work for her in the past even. We've stayed in touch all these years. We met back in 2016 and have stayed fast friends and biz colleagues through social media and some work together and those kinds of things. So let me introduce to you Krisha Young, mind unfucker and sales coach, a multi-passionate entrepreneur and coach who teaches successful women first and foremost to get into a deep relationship with self through spiritual self-mastery and helps her clients master sales calls and increase conversions. Sales is a passion of hers, and she loves supporting online business owners with closing high-ticket sales, sales process development, associate coach mentoring. She has successfully helped her clients generate over 1.5 million in sales revenue so far. Her work blends spirituality and business savvy, and she guides you in making a deep impact in your own life and in the world at large. It's powerful work, and usually the missing link women are looking for after years of therapy and self-development, business coaching, and still feel stuck. The results are healthier businesses and relationships all around, including attracting your ideal partner, ideal career purpose, ideal living situation, and overall abundance and joy into every area of your life. And of course, having rejection-proof sales. Krisha, welcome to my show. So glad to have you here after all these years of knowing you. I'm so excited to be able to share you with my audience so we can help them build their 6 and 7 figure businesses and beyond.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be here, Sophie. Thank you so much. And thank you for that intro. And yeah, we've been friends for a while now, and it's building. We're building it
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
Always, always. And it's, considering, you're in Canada, I'm down here in Nashville, and we're
Yeah.
on social media and all that, but we always find we always end up back together off and on over these years. It's not like we met 5 years ago and then just kind of went poof.
Yeah.
We always find ourselves coming back to each other in one way, shape, or form, whether it be from the friendly side, the business side, whatever. We keep making that connection. I love it.
I love it too. I'm happy to have you in my life.
Hi, and I am happy to have you in my life as well. It's great to have all kinds of great women in my life because I am learning more and more that women connection, the balance between the feminine and masculine in your life, in your business. And I know that you have much experience in that as well. So I can't wait to have you answer my key question that I ask all my guests.
Okay.
What is your favorite or best business advice or
Hmm.
personal
Yeah.
advice to those business entrepreneurs and owners who want to scale from 6 to 7 figures and beyond?
Absolutely. I love this question. So I predominantly work with women who are multiple six, seven figures. So they're already up in that realm. And what we work on in the coaching side of things. So we do sales is a separate side of the business. But if a woman is coming to me for the development, the spiritual coaching, what we're looking at is how she got to the place where she's really unhappy in her business. And so sometimes we see this happening, right? Where you've reached that seven figure, you've reached this pinnacle of what you thought your career should be, but you're not happy. They're not happy. They're burnt out. They want to burn it all down. They're just like, I've had enough of this. And so I wanted to talk to the mistakes that these women are making that are getting them to the financial rewards that they want or the growth that they want, but they're sacrificing so much to get there. And I love that you mentioned the masculine and the feminine, because that's a lot of what's going on here, right? Is like they're following a bunch of shoulds. They're following what they think they should be doing. They're following everybody else's blueprints. They're following the achievement paradigm, which is all about striving and pushing. They're not putting their own self-care first. They're not listening to their intuition. They're not taking care of their bodies, they're not nourishing their relationships. They're not going towards connection. They're going towards like, that smashing the glass ceiling and competition and, strive, push. And it's all like head up here. Like, I think I should be doing this. I think I should do that. I think. And there's a very massive disconnect to the body, to the soul, to the heart, and the kinds of things that really can help build a very successful, you know, multiple six, seven, multiple seven-figure business, right? And so these mistakes is like it's just what I just said, right? And those types of actions put women into the victim mindset. And one of my clients that I'm working with, she had this goal to get to 10 million, and put that goal out there, hired all of the people and all the consultants to get her there. They gave her all of the work, and she was like, in the end, just like, I hate all of this and I want to burn it all down. And so we started to look at all of it, and we saw that there were all these limiting beliefs standing in her way, and she was following the limiting beliefs and they were stopping her. She was mired in people pleasing and keeping contractors and staff and all of that on deck when she didn't need them, or they weren't performing, but she was too afraid to let them go, right? So there's that people pleasing element. Or she was going to a contractor or something like that in a victim state of mind, like, please help me, please save me, without realizing she was doing that. And then so they would sweep in and like take all her money and just like screw everything up. And so I think if we operate business in an unconscious way, where we're striving and pushing in the unhealthy masculine, and we're not connected to our soul, we're not connected to our feminine, we're not connected to those deeper parts within ourselves, then we end up looking back going, okay, yeah, I've got all this money, but I'm miserable, right?
Right. Yes. No, I totally get it. I've seen so many people do that. And as a business owner myself, and with family, and now I have a grandson, it's like having the grandson has changed me a lot, in the sense of making sure I'm connecting with family, and
Mm.
not just because I have lofty goals, of course, for my business, and I
Yeah,
want what I want in my business, but I
yeah,
also want to, do what I teach what I preach about as,
yeah,
the support person for all those business owners. I'm supporting them because they need to have self-care. They need to have family time. They need to go on vacation, unplug. They need to get in touch with whatever it is that feeds their soul,
yeah,
not just the money in the business. And yes, I love what I do, and they love what they do. But even when you love what you do, if you're just focused on that and just the go for it, hustle, grr, you lose touch with the other piece of it. And there, you need both of those in your business.
yeah,
So with that in mind,
yeah,
let's talk about the feminine side, the
yeah,
self-care side,
yeah,
those things.
yeah.
What do you teach most, or teach about when it comes to self-care and being in touch, that especially, is it okay, it's okay to be feminine?
Oh my God, yeah. Absolutely. But I think a lot of women don't even know what feminine means. I think a lot of women think that feminine is like girly and pink and flowers and stuff like that. And that's part of it, but that's not what the feminine is. The feminine is more, it's more about being in receivership, being in allowing mode, having more flow and ease in the work, right? And so the what I do with my women is help them to, like, okay, you have a goal of 10 million, cool, we can, that's awesome, like that doesn't have to go away, but what's your intention for that? Where's the heart connection to that 10 million? Why do you want that, right? And so getting super clear on why, and then letting go of any of the rigidity around that, and creating a softness around it, where it's like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to get there. And I'm going to trust, and I'm going to follow the golden nuggets. And every book out there tells us to do this, right? Just most, Think and Grow Rich, Science of Getting Rich. Every book out there is teaching us this, but most people aren't really actually applying it. And
Right.
it's like, I've read the book, so I should be rich by now. It's like, no, 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 you actually have to be these things. And every single one of them says, let go of the how. And the how is that striving, that pushing that we were talking about a minute ago. So there's a lot of nourishment that comes in for the feminine, right? It's nurturing yourself, it's taking care of yourself, it's listening to your intuition. So the work that I do with women is beyond the basic levels of self-care, where you're like making sure you're taking a break, or making sure that you're on vacation and things like that. Those are all super, super, super critical. Where I go with women is intuition. That is the ultimate form of self-care. Because when you are listening to your body and you're tapped into your intuition in a very deep way, right? Now you can put a boundary up. Now I'm done for the day, I have to stop, right? And you
Right.
deal with the guilt and all the feelings that come up with that, right? Like they're it's gonna come up. It's whatever. It is what it is, right? But that's where
Right.
the pattern release coaching comes in, right? Because like there's a limiting belief there. There's lies there. I call them the lies that feels like the truth, right? There's things there that are going on in your mindset that also need to be like looked at and coached on and whatnot. But like all of that falls under self-care because you're looking after yourself and you're treating yourself like a high value woman whose time is valuable and who she's valuable, and you're trusting yourself, your own intuition is valuable. That's self-care, because then you're going to know I'm done for the day, or I need more water, or I need to go for a walk, or I need Saks or whatever, like you're following the nudges of it, or you're like, this person, this contractor doesn't feel good for me, even though they've made all these promises, I'm going to let them go. It's like
Yes.
listening to that and having that level of self-awareness. And the other thing with women too, it's not just women, but like for the most part, I work with women, is the empathy part, right? We are the nurturers. And so we take on and we take on and we take on. And then that is what creates a lot of the burnout. And so it's creating boundaries around that and being like, you know what, I can have empathy for you and I can have compassion for you, but I'm not taking on your crap. That's self-care too, right?
Yes, yes. No, I love all that.
Mhm.
And I want to touch base on you talked about when a woman decides to take care of themselves and listen to their intuition and they get all the guilt and stuff going on in their head.
Yeah.
Speak to the women who have, families, partners, people
Yeah.
in their life that think it's selfish to take care of themselves first over everything else. Because
Mhm.
I can tell you from experience, when I first started taking care of myself years ago, that was the initial reaction from people in my world. They were like, "Oh, that's so selfish.
Mhm.
What about us? What about this? What about that?" And they didn't, for the longest time, they couldn't get the fact that taking care of myself meant I was taking care of them. So
Yeah.
speak to the people out there that hear
Mhm.
that they're selfish for taking care of themselves.
Yeah, this is such a common lie. That's such a lie. And it's a societal thing, like it's a societal construct that it's selfish for us to take care of ourselves. When my women come up with that, it can sometimes be from the outside, or sometimes it's just an internal thing that they've got, and thinking that it is selfish. I just look at them and I go, okay, like, how are you feeling right now? And they're like burnt out, tired. And how are you with your husband or your partner right now? Are you like, totally loving and cuddly, or are you like angry and resentful? And they're like, we're angry and resentful. How are you with your kids? Impatient and snappy. How do you want to be with your kids? I want to be loving and playful. Like, it's like it's right there in black and white. If you are not being selfish, quote unquote, you're martyring yourself for other people, and you're making them responsible for your happiness. And all that does is build resentment, anger, frustration. And then you're just going to be this like cranky bitch, basically, in not the good sense of the word, right? Because
Right, right.
bad word, right? And so I would work with them on, small little bits at a time, and how to communicate those boundaries with your partner or with your children or whatever it is, right? There is a little bit of trial by fire here, because people are not used to you putting yourself first. And so anybody who pushes back that badly, or that strongly, they don't have your best interest at heart. And so you need to really think about that, and this is where like standing up for yourself and being a high value woman for yourself, is the most important thing. And then having the language, or having the, what to say to these people, and coming from your heart, right? But being really firm with that boundary. No, you know what? I'm taking a 10-minute shower today, and nobody come in. Or I'm going away for the weekend in 3 weeks from now by myself. Nobody gets in my way, right? And it's like you
Right.
prepare your family, you prepare people for it, you let them know, nope, this is my boundary, nope, this is my boundary. And people will kick and scream, but then eventually they'll be like, all right, they'll see you come back and you're like, I love it. I'm so happy. And I'll be like, I like you better this way.
Exactly, exactly. No, I totally get it because it took, people in my I mean, my kids loved it. My kids were like, because they were older when this came about for me, and they were like, "Mom, we love that you're doing this. This is so great. It's
Exactly.
about time you take care of you, and we're good. We're self-sufficient." I mean, because they were, we raised them to be mostly self-sufficient, but I was still in that mom mode, and I'm like, I gotta take care of my kids. I gotta take care of my husband. And when I started pulling back and saying, you know what, I got to take care of me. I got to do things to help me look better, feel better, whatever, whatever was in my mind. And my kids were like, Mom, that's so great. I love it.
Yeah,
So just
good.
for those women out there that worry about being selfish and guilty, and you're right, it's not in their best interest. The person saying those things, it's not in your best interest that they're thinking of. They're thinking of themselves, and
Yeah.
kind of in all honesty, they're the ones being selfish.
I was just gonna say that. Who's
They're
selfish
the
now?
ones being selfish. It's like, oh, I can't take care of myself. I have to take care of you now. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to be able to have that conversation with the right verbiage and the right tone so that it doesn't, create even more chaos. But
Yeah.
when you've
Yes.
got to look at yourself to be able to be the best person you can be, whether that's in your personal life, your business life, or anything else, you have to be at the top of your game physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever your beliefs are in that respect. You've got to have all that in your all those ducks in a row, or you're going to be that one who's, oh, I've got the $1 million, but I'm miserable. I hate my life. I'm working all the time and my family hates me. You've got to have all of that. And so many people, especially women, just don't see that. They've been raised by that culture of, well, in business, you have to go, 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 hustle, 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 and it's like, that is the masculine. And yes, you do need that, but you also need that feminine piece, the intuition, the self
Mhm.
care, the taking care of yourself and putting
Mhm.
up your boundaries and knowing what you want to do and going for it. So I love everything you've talked about here. And I'm sure my listeners have too. So tell me, Krisha, where can they find you? Where can they learn more about you and see if there's any way they want to, get help from you and work with you, learn from you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website, KrishaYoung.com, is sort of like the hub, and all of my programs and scheduling in an awakening call with me, you can do from there. I've got a couple freebies on there, and also my sales, my rejection proof sales is also there as well. So for anybody who's interested in that, Instagram, I love doing reels, and they're just so random, but I just love them. They're fun, and it's the fun part of my business, and it's at the Krisha Young. And I've got a TikTok account, the Money Generator Chick on TikTok. And then Facebook, of course, but I have much more fun on Instagram and TikTok than I do on Facebook, that's for sure.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that some people really get into that side of things, and that's really cool. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm really glad that you say that because I always tell people you don't have to be on every platform. You need to be
yeah,
on the platforms that are authentic to you and feel good to you
yeah,
and where your audience is. So, kudos
exactly.
to you for picking your favorites and following
Good.
them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm on LinkedIn too, but it's not my favorite.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there you
no.
go.
I
Yeah.
get no, totally get it. That's awesome. So, thanks again for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. I love everything you had to tell my listeners, and I'm sure they will too. And to my listeners out there, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking a listen. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And we look forward to seeing you next week with my next amazing guest.